Good morning, everybody. Uh, let's get started.
Good morning.
Good morning. Everybody, could you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Like the parallel circuit. Um, so far I have discussed that series circuit for the AC, and we discussed the impedance for resistance, capacitance, inductance, all with respect to series circuit. But today we will be looking those components in terms of a parallel circuit. And then you will be able to solve all the homework problems. Although in last class I told that I would be uploading the homework, but still I did not, because when I was setting up the problems, I thought that you need to know that parallel circuit and few more stuffs that I will be covering today. Then you will feel comfort in solving the problems. So therefore, everybody please have a look carefully today's class, and then right after that class, in next 2 to 3 hours, I am going to upload, and then I am sending you the email about the homework set too. Okay, so everybody say this is the parallel circuit. There is AC voltage Vs, and there are three components R, L, and C. All they are in parallel, and current flowing, total current is that Is, and each branch has their own currents, like IR, here is IL, and then IC. So now, in case of the parallel circuit, how to solve the problem? That's the question. So, and then in case of parallel circuit, the combined effect of R, L, and C, this is called the admittance. Everybody see this terminology, admittance. Let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, this term, admittance. So in case of series circuit, you remember, you learn the term impedance, impedance. So that impedance is applicable for series circuit. But in case of the parallel circuit, the corresponding term is admittance, and it is denoted by symbol Y. So gradually I am coming. So everybody see the very first equation from this circuit. So Is is the total current, and that current is divided into three parts. Something is going through R, something through L, and something through C. So see my equation. So Is, that equals to, and because this is parallel circuit and this is the voltage, so same voltage applies across each component. So therefore see my equation. So Is is Vs over R, right? So here Vs over R. So therefore, what I did, instead of writing like 3 times Vs over R, Vs over this plus Vs over this component, I just take them in parentheses. So Vs is the common for all three components, and then it is 1 over R here. See the everybody, look carefully the next term. It is not like 1 over L. It is not directly 1 over L. It should be 1 over JXL. Everybody remembered in the last class, we derived how to express the impedance or the reactance for the inductor. That was J omega L. So this means JXL. So that's why, because Vs over this one, so instead of Vs over L, Vs over its impedance or its reactance, that is JXL. Then for this one, that Vs over 1 over minus Jxc. So therefore, you know that minus Jxc, this is the impedance or reactance for this one. So therefore, I mean, how I got that JXL or that minus Jxc. So everybody, once again, see this one. We use those terms like JXL, JXC for series circuit. So exactly, and then XL means omega L, 2 pi FL, Xc means 1 over omega c. This means 1 over 2 pi fc. So therefore, for this one, this is R. But for L component, this is JXL. For this component, this is minus JXA. So therefore, that thing I am doing like 1 over R in parallel circuit, 1 over this one, 1 over this one. So that is the thing I am doing. So once again, look very carefully. So Vs over JXL, then Vs over minus JXA. Everybody, the each equation number, first equation is clear to you?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great, yeah. So therefore, keep in mind, the R is like simple, that you have learned in case of DC circuit. So like all are in resistance in case of DC circuit. So you easily did 1 over R, 1 over R1, 1 over R2, in that way you did. But here we are learning the AC circuit, and this is L, this is C. So you have to write not just 1 over L, 1 over JXL. That JXL is the impedance or reactance of this component that we have already covered in the previous classes. This is the basis. So therefore, you need to look the previous, I mean, I already posted this slide in other classes, I think 2 classes back. You need to look that on. So similarly for this one, minus JXA, keep in mind, this is minus JXA, not the plus JXA. Okay, now moving forward, see the next line. This part is the same, this part is the same. Everybody look this one. It was 1 over minus J. So this means minus J was in the denominator. I take it in the numerator. So that's why sign changed. So that's why now it became plus. So plus J 1 over Xa. Then in the next line, what I am doing, up to now this is fine. And then first I am writing this term, Xa term. This means plus J 1 over Xa. But then here what I did, you see, that J was in the denominator, plus J. But I am taking it in the numerator, so that's why it is becoming minus. So that's why this term minus J 1 over XL. So and that is the reason, because I know that this will be the minus. That's why I wrote it later, and because this is plus, so I wrote it at first. So now come back. This is IS, this is IS. So you all have learned in DC circuit, what is the 1 over R? That is the G, the conductance. And this is the new term for you, that VB symbol. J is this J, 1 over XC. I am designating this on by BC, B subscript C. What is BC? I have written down the definition. It is called capacitive susceptance. I mean, the difficult dot. Capacitive susceptance. BC means 1 over XC. This 1 over XC, BC. That is the definition. And the unit is in mho. So you remember even the conductance unit is mho. So you remember DC circuit, resistance unit was ohm, but conductance unit was mho, mho, mho. So here, in case of parallel circuit, everything is expressed in mho, 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 similar to DC circuit. And then this component, this is minus J. 1 over XL means V subscript L. What is that on VL? Inductive susceptance. VL 1 over XL. So therefore, capacitive susceptance, inductive susceptance. You see that there is similarity. In case of series circuit, this was the expression. GR, R was the resistance, you all know. But what was XL? XL was inductive reactance and unit was ohm. What was XC? Capacitive reactance. So in case of series circuit, you will be using the term reactance, and the combined effect is impedance. But in case of parallel circuit, you will be using the word susceptance. Susceptance. This means this is reciprocal of the reactance, and then reciprocal of resistance is conductance. So these are the so I believe quite new term for you. So from today, like as a engineer, you will have to remember this term: VC, capacitive susceptance; VL, inductive susceptance. Okay, so moving forward, so I got this one. So from this, the J is the common factor. So BC minus BL. And what I did, everybody look this equation. I took VS here. So IS over VS. So now you see IS over VS. This is called the Y symbol. IS over VS, not V over I. IS over VS. That is the Y. This J plus J, BC minus BL. And that Y is called the admittance. Admittance, Y equal to I over V. So in case of impedance, this was the impedance, J. In case of the series circuit, so J is impedance. Here similar thing is admittance. And R is resistance. Here similar component is conductance. In case of the series, it was XL. In case of this is BL. This was XC. In case of parallel, this is BC. And then you see there is relationship BC on over XC, VL on over XL, G on over R, and then O equal to on over G. This is the relationship. So this means that from now on, you will be remembering, you will be memorizing, in fact, this on O equal to G plus J, BC minus BL. Similarly, you all will be memorizing this on for series circuit, G equal to R plus J, XL minus XC. Therefore, that will help you to calculate the total impedance of the network. So for parallel circuit, I will call it total admittance, which is IS over VS. Everybody, could you follow me so far?
Yes.
Yeah. So therefore, just new thing, you need to be a little bit attentive, and you should have a little bit patience. And if you see, then you will get fun. So as I said you, as a electrical engineer, from today you must memorize this one: Y equal to G plus J, BC minus BL. Sometimes in the some job market, job interview, simply they will ask you this thing: hey, do you know what is the expression of admittance, or what are the components that involves the admittance? So answer is yes, I do know. It is like conductance plus the imaginary part, capacitive susceptance, and the inductive susceptance. Thus, they want to know this thing that you don't know that. Okay, now let's go in terms of some numerical problem. Then it will be much more clear to you. Okay, so this is series here. Everybody see, I would recommend each of you, please, you be ready with your calculator and a piece of paper. Write with me, you all do. So I have set up 3 problems, all like about admittance calculation. So say the first problem: determine the admittance in rectangular form of an impedance G equal to 1000 plus J400 ohm. So this means that I am expecting what should be the admittance given that this is the impedance. So, and then I have written down the answer for you. This should be the answer. So here you see, this is not millisecond, this is millisiemens. So you all know that admittance unit is more, conductance more, everything is more. In other odds, it is called the Siemens, Siemens, the Siemens company, the same spelling, Siemens. So the symbol S is used to represent the admittance or conductance or susceptance. That's why this is the millisiemens. I mean, don't confuse with the second. This is not a millisecond. This is millisiemens. Or you can say the millimo. You can use that on millimo. That will also fine. So everybody, then could you understand what to do that? The impedance is given. This means G. So how to get the admittance? So therefore, what we learn today? Everybody look this one. What is Y? Y is the admittance. What is Y? Y is on over G. Y is on over G. So this means that because this thing is given G, so admittance means on over that factor. So therefore for you, I think I have done that on in next slide. Uh, so everybody see. And please use your calculator to verify that like I did correctly. You see that was Z. So everybody look, because I have to find out Y admittance which is on over G. So that's why first I converted this one into polar form. So like 1077.03 at an angle 21.8 degree. Can you tell me that I did this correctly from rectangular to polar? Are you also getting this number?
Yes.
Okay, great. So everybody please use your calculator, and then this is the time or this is the chance to learn and understand this thing. Only then you will be able to solve homework problem, exam problem, or you will be learning the AC circuit. You like you, I mean, always I am telling you must, each of you must learn these things. Okay, then come back. So Y is on over G. So on over that number. And then just calculation on over this one. So this is, I expressed in that format 9.28 into 10 to the power minus 4. And then according to Phasor algebra, this will go in the numerator. So then angle become minus. And see, I have written this is Siemens, unit Siemens. That is the minute, not second, Siemens. And after this line, you see, I converted into millisiemens. So you see, so that I can eliminate this one. So if it is 10 to the power minus 3, and then I am dividing by another one, so it becomes 0.928, and then angle this one. And then finally, the problem was asking me, determine the admittance in rectangular form. They were asking the answer in rectangular form. So this is the rectangular form, I mean the answer. That's why from here, I converted polar into rectangular format, millisiemens. Are you all getting this result?
Yes.
Okay. So is everybody fine? Like, is any confusion with anybody? I mean, please don't be shy. Just, I mean, to tell me frankly, and don't worry and don't be shy, because this is the time to learn and to understand. Otherwise, always you will have lacking in your calculation in the AC circuit. Uh, as you can understand that AC is somewhat different than DC. In case of DC, you are not worried at all about any angle, and there was no any imaginary term. But in this case, inductor and capacitor is taking you to the imaginary part, like JXL minus JXC plus JBC minus JBL. So it is taking you to the imaginary world, and that is creating the complexity. Resistance term is fine, yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. Therefore, never ever, I mean, you cannot leave angle anytime, yeah. And anyway, so now please look the number 2. Second question. Everybody read. Determine the admittance, again in a rectangular form, of a network consisting of the parallel combination of an 800 ohm resistor, a 1 millihenry inductor, and a 2 nanofarad capacitor. If the operating frequency is on mega radian per second, this means this is the omega value, omega, the last one, on mega radian per second, operating frequency, omega value. So, and then I have written down the answer for you. Again, Y is this plus J, millisiemens. So this means there is a parallel circuit that consists of 800 ohm resistor, 1 millihenry inductor, and a 2 nanofarad capacitor. So therefore, again, I have done this one for you. So everybody see the next one, number 2. Yeah. So this is the parallel circuit. So I have to find out the admittance. This means I have to find out the Y from this circuit. So at first, I have written down that expression, Y equal to G plus J VC minus VL. I mean, from where I got that one, this is my expression. The thing that I discussed at first today, Y equal to G plus J VC minus VL. And then just you have to know what is G. G is on over R. What is BC? Look here, BC is on over XC. What is VL? On over XL. You just need to remember these things. So then look this one. After writing this equation, first I am writing R was 800. R value was given in that problem 800. Then I am finding G on over R. So on over 800, it gave me 1.25 millisiemens. Then I am finding the next one, BC. So as I showed you in the previous slide, the BC is on over XC. And again, what is XC? What is XC? On over omega C. Keep in mind, XC is not just omega C. XC is on over omega C. So how I got that one? You see this one, XC. XC on over omega C. And what is the omega? On over 2 pi FC. And XL is omega L. It is not on over omega L, just omega L. And what is omega? 2 pi FL. So now see, VC is on over XC, but on over omega C. Then ultimately this omega C is going in the numerator. So ultimately VC means omega C. And now substitute those values. What is omega? Omega was given in the problem. You see, that is the thing I was telling you. See the second problem. If the operating frequency is on milliradian per second, this is directly the omega value. This is not just the frequency. This is the, because it is expressed in radian per second, that's why this is the omega. But if it is not expressed in radian per second, let's say hertz or cycles per second, then that is the F value. You have to convert into omega. But because the unit is radian per second, so this is directly the value of omega. So that's why see my calculation BC, what is omega? On mega radian, I converted into radian per second. So therefore on multiplied by 10 to the power 6. And then what was my C value? C was 2 nanofarad. So I converted into farad. That's why 2 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 9. Then again I am simplifying. You see I got 2 multiplied by 10 to the power minus 3. So this is 2 millisiemens. So this is 2 millisiemens. It is easy for me to express because I am getting a good number to instead of doing like 0.002. That's why I converted into millisiemens. And other reason is that I already converted G into millisiemens. So I am keeping millisiemens. Now come back. You need the third component, which is VL. What is VL? On over XL. What is XL? Omega L. And again, what is the omega value? On mega radian per second. Same thing. What was the L value? L value was on millihenry. So I am converting into Henry first, and then after manipulation on millisiemens. Now just plug in these numbers, G this on, BC this on, and BL this number into this equation. This is your basic equation. And that I did. G value is this one plus J 2 minus 1. So my result is just J on. Pretty simple. You don't need even calculator. That's the result in the rectangular for millisiemens. And that was what you were asked in that problem. See, determine the admittance of a network consisting of the parallel combination of resistor, inductor, and capacitor given that your omega is this number. So this was the answer that I had written down, and like you all got that one. Everybody, do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Yeah. That's why, I mean, that is the reason, because I did not discuss this why thing, and I did not upload that homework. And today I am going to upload that homework set too. So you will be noticing that I am asking to calculate the admittance in few problems. That's why I realized that at first I should discuss in the class before assigning you the homework. Okay, great. So then everybody now come back to problem number 3. Read number 3, another practice. Determine the admittance in rectangular form of a network consisting of the series combination of an 800 ohm resistor, 1 millihenry inductor, and a 2 nanofarad capacitor, if the operating frequency is 1 megaradian per second. I mean, these numbers are the same as to the previous problem, but in this case, these three components are in series. And then find out the admittance. That's the question. So only difference is that those three components were in parallel, and now I am asking if those three components are in series, then what? That's the question. So I think I have done this on here. Yeah, this is the solution. Everybody see. Uh, because those are now given in series, so I have to go with the series rule. This means that, in fact, I have to use this one. For series, J equal to R plus J XL minus XA. I have to use this one. This means that R is fine, but I have to find out XL. I have to find out XA. Then I am fine. And then once again, what is my XL? XL is omega L, 2 pi FL. What is XA? 1 over omega C. So 1 over 2 pi FC. So by utilizing this, then I am able to solve this problem. So therefore everybody see, R is fine, R as it is. I don't need to do anything. What I did, I just converted 800 ohm into kilo ohm. So I wrote 0.8 kilo ohm. Okay. Now, what is this one? GL, as I said, like JXL. I am directly using the symbol JXL, so that directly I can use in the equation. That's why I am using the symbol JXL. And then that is, what is XL? Omega L. And what was your omega? Omega was, you see, 1 megaradian per second in the problem statement. And what was your L value? 1 millihenry. So therefore 1 millihenry, and this is 1 megaradian, because you are multiplying omega L, this and this number. So I am getting 1 kilo ohm. So this means this is J 1 kilo ohm. Now how about this one? This is, you see, minus JXC. This is minus JXC. I mean, directly I am calculating this one with the J, minus JXC. So this means minus J, but then X is, I have written X is 1 over omega C. So then put all those number on over, what is omega? Omega is this, and what is C? 2 nanofarad. So this is 2 nanofarad. So therefore, after manipulation, after calculation, I am getting minus J 0.5 kilo ohm. Because I expressed this on in kilo ohm, so I am keeping these all like kilo ohm. Okay, once I did that, just I need to sum up these three. I mean the impedance or reactance of all these three components. So look, that for G is this value plus this value, then plus this value. I mean in terms of minus. And then from there, I am getting 0.8 plus J 0.5 kilo ohm. And then after this on, you see, this is in rectangular format. So I am converting into polar format. So therefore you please check your calculator that I did it correctly. my calculator work correctly. Please you check. So, and then unit is kilo ohm. But my goal, my problem was find out the admittance, which is Y is 1 over G, which is 1 over this number, millisiemens. And then again, I am getting 1 over this number, approximately 1.06. And then this angle is going in the numerator, so it became minus, according to the Phasor algebra. And then I was asked to express the result in rectangular format, and I did that. So please again you check that I did it correctly, this conversion, polar into rectangular. So 0.899 minus the 0.562 millisiemens. Could you follow me, everybody?
Yes, it's great.
Great. And then is this correct? Is your calculator giving you this result?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. Yeah. Therefore, everybody, once again, all may not be prepared with the calculator, but after the class, please you all look, please you all understand all the problems that I am discussing in the class. That will really help you solve the homework problems, midterm exam, final exams, and any time. I mean, this is the gateway course to many courses. So without understanding this course, you cannot understand many upper level classes. Like at each and every point, it will take you to the AC circuit, even DC circuit. Therefore, without understanding these things, you cannot do anything. That's why this is called the like gateway course. This is the very vital course, I mean, for electrical engineer. At each and every moment of your life, you need to apply these things. Even in your job market, wherever you do, if you do work at MLGW, an electrical company, frequently you will need to use these things for your calculation. Your boss will expect that you know all of these things. That's why if you now learn these things, then you can easily, I mean, sometimes it is natural that you will forget something. That is very natural. But then at least you should remember, no, I learned that. And then at that time, if you once again see any book, any note, then easily you can remember. But what I am saying that if you now don't understand, then never ever you can understand. That's the thing. So that's why each of you, everybody, you must learn these things. This is mandatory. You can't escape these things. Then you cannot do anything. Okay, so moving forward, today I will be discussing another important concept, and then we will be done for today. So what you see, what is the topic? Everybody see the topic, leading or lagging concept. Leading or lagging. So this means that once it is AC quantity, once it is AC voltage or AC current, then the question is coming whether the voltage or current signal is leading or lagging each other. For example, you are comparing two voltage signal, then immediately the question is whether it is leading or lagging each other. I mean, what is the meaning of that? I am coming that soon. Or you are comparing voltage with current in a particular circuit, and the question is coming leading or lagging. So that's why this is very important concept for AC. When it was DC, then because there was no angle included in case of DC quantity, so then there was no question of leading or lagging. But if it is AC, definitely the question is leading or lagging. So for example, what I am asking, find out the phase angle between V1 is minus 10 cosine of this and V2 is this. State which sinusoid is leading. So is V1 leading to V2 or V1 is lagging V2, or what's the relationship? That I am asking. So how to do that? I am coming that point soon. Question number 2, find the phase angle between ion in this and I2 this. And then does ion lead or lag I2? So that's the question. So now everybody see, I mean, we are learning that voltage or current expression in terms of cosine. but here there is on minus sign. So the first task to conclude or to know whether it is leading or lagging, first we have to convert each expression into positive term, positive value. So somehow we have to eliminate this minus term with the help of trigonometry. And I have to convert sine into cosine. Then I can compare. So therefore, for everybody, for this type of problem, the first task is to make all signals, all voltage or current signal into cosine term and into all positive value, not keeping the minus sign. The same thing in this problem. This is in cosine form and it is positive. This is fine. But you have to convert this on into cosine, plus you have to eliminate the minus sign. That is the first task. Now, let's come back. What is the meaning of leading, lagging first? And then you will get what to do and how to do. For everybody, momentarily, let you take you to that whiteboard. Then you will be fine. Okay, so for example, you have one voltage expression, for example, 10, and its phase angle is 10 degree. Just an example. And then you have the current expression, for example, this, and then angle is 5 degree. Just an example. So therefore, that is the question, that which signal is leading or lagging. Therefore, the thing is that now leading or lagging you can do in two ways. First of all, let me plot those two. You see, this is that time function, and this is voltage or the current. Sorry, voltage or this current. So, for example, the voltage expression, this is my voltage response, for example. And then this is current. So how to draw the current? Will it start from here, or will it start later, or when? So therefore that time you will be looking the angle difference. So therefore you see this one is 10 degree, here it is 5 degree. So this means that I think you will understand this one. I want to plot this one in a graph paper. For example, this is my reference line. This is reference. So with respect to reference, how I can draw this one? And you see it is plus 10 degree. So I will go anti-clockwise. So this will be my vector. So this will be V, and this angle anti-clockwise, this is 10 degree. Everybody understand this one? I am just drawing this on a graph paper. So for example, this is my reference, zero line, and 10 degree. What is the meaning of this vector? I am drawing the vector. So I went to anti-clockwise because the angle is plus. If I had the angle minus, take another example. For example, it was 10. It was minus 10 degree, for example. Then what I would do? This was my reference line, but then this time I would go downward. The clockwise. This is that minus 10 degree. This would be my V vector. This is my reference line. Everybody, could you follow me what I am saying? Yeah. Think about the vector, how you represent the vector. It has a magnitude with the angle. So plus angle means I am going anti-clockwise. And then minus angle means I am going downward. From here I have to go downward. That's right. So therefore, let me delete this one momentarily. Now, for example, now I want to draw this vector, this one. So how to do that? For example, this is my reference line, but in this case, whatever the magnitude is, it has the angle 5 degree. So what will be the location of I? Probably I is here, for example. So this is the 5 degree anti-clockwise. So you see, so this means that now if I say that which one is leading or lagging, so in this case, the conclusion is V leads I. V leads I. That is the conclusion. That is the meaning of leading or lagging. So this means that which has gone far. So, and what is the difference? 5 degrees is the difference. Because this has gone 10 degree, this has gone up to 5 degree. This is my difference 5 degree. So the conclusion is V leads I, V leads I by 5 degree. That is the meaning of the leading. Or in other words, you can say that I lags B by 5 degree. Do you understand what I am saying? Because in this case, who is leading or lagging? So V leads I by 5 degree, or with respect to I, you can say I lag V by 5 degree. You see, because this is in leading and this is still lagging, 5 degree lagging. This means how much, how many degree behind, or on vector is how many degree in ahead. That is the meaning of leading lagging. So therefore, now come back, I started here. If I plot this on 10 degree, if this is my vector, then I would say this one, because there is 5 degree difference, I see. So therefore, definitely I will start from here and then it will go in that way. This means that this difference is that 5 degree. This difference, this portion is that 5 degree. So this means if I start V at the 0 position, then I had started after 5 degree because of their phase difference, angle difference. So in that case, you can say that V is leading. This is the I curve. This means that V is leading I, or in other words, I is lagging V. Everybody, could you follow me?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, great. So now please come back to that one. I saved this one so you can see in the video. Now go back to that calculation that I was doing. Now everybody, that is the leading or lagging. So now I am asking that question, find the phase angle between V on this and V to this. And state which sinusoid is leading. Is this one leading this one, or V2 is leading this one? And if leading, then how much, at what degree? That's the question. The same question goes this one. What is the phase angle? Find the phase angle between this and this. What is their phase difference? And based on that, conclude, does ion lead or does ion lag item? So now everybody see, I have done the calculation for you. Let me zoom in. Okay, so everybody see the first one. Okay, so the V1 expression was minus 10 cosine of omega t plus 50. So as I said you a few minutes back, the very first task is that you have to eliminate the minus sign. You have to make it positive. So therefore what I did, everybody look, 10 cosine, I add here minus 180 degree. Then can you go back to trigonometry and can you remember that the meaning is the same? Because this is omega t plus 50 degree and then I did minus 180. So from here it will give you the minus this number. If you remember the quadrant of the trigonometry, like first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant, like all sine, tan, cos. Do you remember? And can you follow me what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, great. Yeah. So see the meaning that if I add minus 180, then you will be getting the minus 10 here. Great. Then see the next line, 10 cosine omega t. Just I calculated. It gave me minus 130. So what does that mean? So this is in like time domain function. So you can say, okay, this one is V on 10 angle minus on 30. So this is in phasor format. I mean, you may not need to write this on, just for today I am writing, because at the very first time you are learning this lagging or leading concept. That's why I'm saying you may not need to write this on. Just by looking, you can conclude. Okay, and then go to the V2. V2 was this form, 12 sine omega t minus 10 degree. Now convert into cosine. How to do that? I just did minus 90 degree. Everybody look, I just subtracted 90 degree. So then from cosine, it will be sine, and this is in like all quadrant, or number one quadrant. So then I converted into cosine. So from here 12 cosine omega t, then it gave me minus 100 degree. So in other words, in polar form, in phasor form, I could write in this format, 12 minus 100 degree. Now I did this on just to plot this on that I was showing you. Now by looking these two, you have to conclude which one is leading. Is V2 leading V1, or V1 is leading or lagging? What's the relationship? That's the thing. So I got conclusion V2 leads V1 by 30 degree just by looking this one. So how I did that? Everybody see, this is my reference, and first I am plotting V1, whatever the magnitude, angle is minus on 30. So this means I have to go, you see, from here reference line, I have to go clockwise minus on 30 degree. I went. So that is my V1, this V1. Now plot V2, minus 100. Again, I am going clockwise, this one. So you all know that clockwise angle means this is more negative than this one. So this means that if you compare these two clockwise, then V2 is leading V1. And what's the angle difference? This was 130, this was 100. So this is the 30 degree. That's why I wrote V2 leads V1 by 30 degree. Or in other words, V1 lags V2 by 30 degree. Everybody, is this fine? Yeah. So then, as I was telling you, even everybody said, you may not need to draw this on, or you may not take the help of this on. For the first time, I am telling, you see, just by comparing these two, you can conclude. Because like, that is the reason I converted into cosine. This one is cosine. Look the number. By looking the number, you can see this is 30 degree more negative as compared to this one. This is minus 100, minus 130. This means if you think clockwise angle, definitely this is 30 degree more negative. So this means definitely this waveform is leading than that one. I mean, without doing these things, you can conclude just by looking. So now see the number 2, then again it will be clear to you. Number 2 was this problem, phase angle difference between this one and that one. That was the problem number 2. So everybody see, ion was minus 4 sine this one. So as I said, my very first task is to convert sine into cosine and to eliminate the minus sign. So see what I did, 4 cosine 370 plus 25 plus 90. Because it is plus 90, so from cosine I will get sine, and because this is in second quadrant, but in second quadrant cosine is negative, so that's why I am putting the minus sign, just the trigonometry. And then after that 4 cosine of this one, you add this one, 90 plus 25 on 15 degree. That's why again I have written in phasor form, ion is 4 at an angle of 150. And then I2 was this number, 5 cosine of 370 minus 40 degree. So there is no issue here because it is already in cosine. There is no minus sign, so I am fine. So that's why I am expressing this on in polar format. I2 5 angle minus 40. Now you compare.
I have a question.
Here,
Why are we not taking into account the omega t? Because I know omega is 2 pi frequency when in time, and frequency is an inverse second, so that would cancel. But what about the 2 pi?
so, no, you see, inside 377, there is omega. This is omega.
Yeah, I see that. So that would be 2 pi frequency.
Yeah. 2 pi f, already that is included inside. 2 pi f, that is the omega t.
Right.
So therefore, you see, for both expression, it is the same thing. You don't need to compare that one already, you see.
Right. So we don't take that into account. We're not taking omega t into account when we're converting back into polar.
Yeah, no. So therefore, if you remember like 2 classes back or 3 classes back, when I expressed, so one second, let me answer to your questions much more clearly. Hold on. For example, let me delete this thing. So if you remember like few classes back, for example, this is a voltage waveform. This is T and then this one is V, time function. So how we expressed that one? So V was that Vm cosine of that omega t. And then I have to look whether it is plus minus any angle. So in this case, this is 0. So because it is started from the 0 position. So you see, this is the general expression, including the omega t, general expression for the AC waveform in time domain. From here, when I am expressing in the polar form or phasor form, I am using the symbol capital V. I am taking whatever the magnitude this one V1, and then you need to directly look the angle. You don't need to look at all the omega t. That is the way. That is the definition of the phasor. You don't need to look this part. You understand? We discussed these things before.
Oh yes. I got it.
Yeah. Therefore, I mean, if it is 10 degree, you put 10 degree. You don't need to look that on at all. This puts on omega t. This represents, because omega is, that omega is 2 pi f. That is indicating the angular frequency. What is the frequency of that one? So that's why the frequency is inherently included in this component. So you are not worried about the frequency. You only looking the what is the phase or what, because because AC quantity is phasor or vector. That's why you are worried about the angle, because vector means it has a magnitude and it has a direction, right? That is the definition of vector. Scalar quantity means it has only the magnitude. But AC quantity, because this is vector, that's why angle is very important, because that angle indicates the direction. Is it going anti-clockwise or clockwise? That's why this is your phasor representation. Okay, so I hope you understood. And then so is this fine now? Now everybody see, I am plotting these two. Ion 4 on 15. So because this is positive angle, this is my reference. I am going anti-clockwise up to 115. This is my ion. I2 was minus 40. I am going from reference 40 clockwise. Now see. So then clearly you see, because this has gone clockwise and this one's gone anti-clockwise. So definitely ion leads I2, but how much? So this means what's the difference from here to here? That is, difference is on 55 degree. This angle plus this angle. So that's why the conclusion, ion leads I2 by on 55 degree. Is this fine?
Yes.
Everybody is fine? Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So therefore, I mean, throughout your life from now on, as an electrical engineer, always leading, lagging these things, it will not leave you. Always it will be in your life. Yeah, always, always. So therefore, from now on, in many problems, you will be seeing that or leading, lagging. Whenever it is AC quantity, leading, lagging, phasor, those impedance, reactance, susceptance, those terms will not release you, never ever. You cannot avoid those terms and those concepts. This will be like integral part of your life, being an electrical engineer. That's the thing. Okay, so I believe like everybody understood. So in next, I mean, within noon, you will see that I am sending an email after uploading the second set of homework. And then so far what you have learned, I believe you all will be able to solve all the problems. So just wait for my email, and unless I upload the homework set too. Okay, so I am stop sharing and